Hello, Taurus. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me again this week for your weekly reading. We are back to the old microphone. If you heard the Aries, reading, just because the new one is just apparently garbage. So, sadly, we're back to the old mic. By the way, I'm Emily Gear, transformative energy healer and multidimensional channel. We're going to be doing your weekly messages today, and it is a general reading. So if you don't resonate, then I suggest checking out your rising, your Venus, or your moon signs as well to get a bigger picture of what might be going on for you. This week did start Mercury retrograde on the 7th, which was yesterday. However, that is not the big disaster that pop culture likes to make it seem. So let's not get worked up over that. We're going to just go ahead and shuffle and take a look at the energies coming in for you guys this week. If you decide you want a private reading or akashic records consultation or energy healing or anything else that I do, that can be scheduled on my website, which is IamEmilyGear.com. And in addition, there will be an extended reading looking directly into your romantic relationships, and you can get to that reading by clicking the link in the info box below this video, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get the energy for Taurus for this week, and some cards just popped out as I was saying that. And what I have here is the Three of Cups with the Emperor and the Six of Swords coming up here. I feel like, so you might have had a few heavy weeks in between here. At least the last few weeks could have been heavy for you. I'm feeling a lot more like lighthearted energy coming in with this Three of Cups, but also with this Six of Swords, which makes me feel like you're moving away from some of this heavier energy. You do have Chiron sitting in your sign right now for quite a while. That's the wounded healer. And so that can bring a lot of heavy energy, but it does feel like with the Emperor coming in here that you're kind of, I feel like you're setting up some boundaries with where you're going to let yourself kind of wallow, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like a sense of taking control of your situation so that you feel like you're being active and not depressive about certain things. And I think that's really positive. You know, with this Three of Cups here, I just feel like a lighter hearted energy coming in. It could be that you're allowing people to help you and that's making a difference. But more than that, I just feel like there was this decision made and you decided to sort of drop the axe on some of your past behaviors, or it could be individuals bringing that kind of energy into your life. So there were potentially, you know, they're equating it to the way that I've been feeling about my job. And that really boils down to me needing to change my perspective on my, I have two full-time jobs. Like, the other one is running an animal rescue, and that's the one that's really giving me hell right now. So I've had to change my perspective on that and just be like, Emily, you are incredibly lucky to have the job that you have in the way that you have it. You work from home, blah, blah, blah. And I have had to say there's really no reason for me to be sitting here being miserable. This is all about the way that I choose to perceive my situation. And of course, there are a lot of reasons why I'm not loving it, but that's neither here nor there. Oh, my point is that I feel like you are the person who's deciding how you're going to feel about stuff right now, or at least you're taking control of that on an emotional level, which is important because I feel like there has been a lot of like really variable emotional energy going around for everybody in the collective. And I think that, you know, the placement of Chiron is not helping being in your natal sign, which means it could very easily be directly conjunct your sun. And if it's not directly conjunct your sun, it's still in your sign. So that is one way that I feel like, you know, this is maybe some of that Leo energy coming in, albeit a bit early because we are still in Cancer season. However, Mercury, which did go retrograde, is retrograde in Leo. So I feel like there's just, you know, this sense of wanting to really I don't know what the word that I want won't come. The word that wants to come out is the word obsessed, but that makes no sense. So maybe that's meaningful for somebody. But what I was trying to say is that you are reassessing. Maybe that's what I wanted to say. Where you're allowing, what boundaries emotionally you're allowing yourself to cross, and just saying like, I'm not going to go down to those depths anymore. It's not a refusal to feel it, right? Feeling it is one thing, but then you have to come back out of it. You can't just wallow down there. And it's almost like, you know, we've been so interested in looking at our shadow for so long that it's easy to begin the wallow, and that is not helpful. Next we have the King of Pentacles, which really is a very similar energy, I feel like, to the Emperor. This is a very grounded, very structured energy, and it's really about taking control of our physical existence, our physical being. And it came out with the Hierophant. Like, can we get any more like control-y and curmudgeon-y and like, so these three together honestly are bordering on inflexibility, okay? So I don't want you to go down that path. So if you find yourself getting stuck in the energy of inflexibility, make sure that you kind of back up for a second and ask yourself, where would it be in my highest and best good, or in the highest and best good of all, for me to break down some of these boundaries, for me to break down some of these old structures, okay? I'm not saying that boundaries are amazing. In fact, most of my readings in the past weeks have been about setting boundaries. There might be, and I just said the word reassess, there might be a need to reassess those boundaries and decide where you are being too harsh, too structured, too stubborn, right? Taurus, too stubborn, never. I love you guys, I'm just teasing. There's a lot about tradition, control, masculinity, power. A lot of that's coming through here. And so I do want you to take the best of that energy, but be really aware of when you're sort of tipping into that state of toxicity, okay, or distortion. There might be some of you who are really hell-bent on carrying forth a particular, I'm hearing the word dogma. So that to me feels very inflexible also. And so if you find that you are preaching something in a way that is not inclusive, then you might need to turn that on yourself and evaluate why this philosophy came about, what within you created this way of thinking, because it's that inflexibility that is not working, okay? We do want boundaries. We do want self-control. We do want to decide when we're not wallowing anymore, but we don't want to take that to such an extreme. It's like you've gone from one end of the pendulum all the way to the other potentially, and you don't want to take it to the other extreme where you never are making exceptions to the rule, or making choices based upon empathy or things like that, okay? So just be aware. I'm not saying that all of you are doing that, just that energy is present and available to you, and really to us, because, you know, I feel like we all have different things going on in all of these signs, whether it's in our natal chart, current transits, or other things. And so we all need to be aware of these energies, these messages. Okay. Okay, so let's see what else wants to come out. What else for Taurus, please? What else for Taurus this week, please? We've got the Fool with the Page of Pentacles. So, there is the potential for something new to begin here this week in your life in some way. I feel like, I don't know why this feeling is coming up, but I'm getting this feeling that there's a chance that you will need to reevaluate your foundations, which I guess makes sense with all of these Earth cards coming up here, because it's possible that you might not be fully, I was going to say grounded, but again, we've got all these grounding cards here. But it's like you might be slightly delusional about a certain thing. So you want to get a new start, a new beginning. You want to like set out on something. And I don't want to discourage you from doing that, but I do want you to look again more closely at the kind of support you may or may not have, what the situation may or may not be. Because I'm just getting this feeling that, you know, there's a chance that you think, you know, you want to jump into a relationship, let's say, and you are convinced that the other person feels a certain way, but it doesn't actually reflect the way that they really feel, that you're projecting in some way some kind of other internal truth of your own, that you're not, you might not be fully open to the fullness of their energy to understand what's going on. Same if it's like a job or something like that. You might be slightly in dream world about like how well it could go or is going. I'm just looking at all these clouds up here. I feel like you could be a little bit of a dreamer, and maybe that's why all this heavy, earthy control type energy is coming in, because you're trying to counteract that in some kind of way. You're trying to ground yourself, right? I'm not saying that you're completely in the clouds, all right? I'm not saying that it's fully that. Just take a moment and reevaluate. Everything seems to require some reevaluation, actually, which makes sense because I was just talking about Mercury retrograde. For some reason, I brought it up for you. I didn't bring it up for Aries before. And Mercury retrograde, or any planetary retrogrades, are really about re-evaluating things. So that kind of energy is coming in for you. Mercury retrograde can be about re-evaluating things involving communication, contracts, business ventures, all that kind of stuff. So it can involve the physical world or the monetary world, or things that are solid and stable. It's also fairly ill-advised, they're saying, to start anything new during a Mercury retrograde. So if you're thinking about it, you might want to reevaluate that. Okay, is kind of what they're saying. If you feel strongly that it's the right time, then it's the right freaking time, and don't worry about Mercury retrograde, okay? Like, your feeling, your guidance is the most important thing there, but I'm just bringing that up in case it becomes an issue for you. What else is coming up for Taurus this week, please? Okay, can I get some clarifying cards with that? I'm hearing just wait, it's around the bend, okay? So there's something that is coming up. This might not be the time that it is coming up, but despite everything that I've said, I really do feel a lightening in the energies, like a much lighter energy than I have in the past weeks. Okay, so let's see. All right, so I was hearing just wait, it's right around the bend, and we've got the 10 of Cups here. And so that is some wish fulfillment. Well, not even wish fulfillment. That's usually the 9 of Cups. This is like fulfillment period. This is like the emotional fulfillment in your life, okay? And then we've got that coming up with the Three of Swords, the World card, and the Two of Wands. And what this feels like to me is an end to these difficult situations, and the doorway to the new situation being your choice, on your terms, on your, you know, it's your prerogative which way you go, okay? But there is this right around the bend, this sort of emotional fulfillment here. This is technically emotional, but I am feeling the feeling that for some of you this is going to involve a house or a career or something. So it might not just be a relationship or something emotional. I mean, there is an emotional component to purchasing a house, to getting a new job. So I think whatever it is that you want that makes you happy, that brings you joy and fulfillment, is around the corner. And that there is an end to this heavier energy, which we already are seeing kind of come to an end. There's just a little bit, I feel like, of this cautionary energy coming in, and, you know, maybe it's just for the next week. It could be the next 3 weeks while Mercury is in retrograde. But in any case, just hold tight and know that, like, what happens from this point on is your choice, all right? And that is really important thing to keep in mind, because it's empowering, all right? In a way that maybe you have felt disempowered in the past, if you felt like things were just happening to you, not for you. But it really is the opposite, right? So guys, we are going to continue this over on Vimeo, where we will dive directly into romantic relationships and do an energy healing. If you do not join us on Vimeo, I will see you next week. If you do, thank you so much. I'll see you over there. And also, if you decide you would like a private reading or energy healing, Akashic Records consultation, any of those things, you can schedule with me on my website, which is IamEmilyGear.com. Okay? Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.